You're my sunshine in the brain when it's pouring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Devon and I am a certified makeup artist and esthetician student. Today we will be doing a talk through beginner friendly makeup tutorial. Show you guys exactly what you need to be doing with exactly what products. Everything will be listed down below, as well as alternatives for affordable products. If you have any questions, please make sure that you leave them down below. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Post a video every week, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. And other than that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. Starting off on clean skin, we are going to first moisturize. I'm going to use this moisturizer from Beauty Stat. I'm going to go ahead and rub this all over my face. Next, I'm going to go in with the primer. I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. If you have more dry skin, you're going to want to use a hydrating primer. For more oily skin, you're going to want to use a mattifying primer. If you're going for a dewy look, you want to use an illuminating primer. It's good for all skin types, but definitely recommend this one for someone who is maybe a little bit more oily or even combination. Those two steps are going to be really essential to making sure that your makeup lasts. You may be going out for 6 hours or 8 hours, and this is the last time you're going to be able to prep your skin. Skincare is going to be the key to a flawless foundation. Next, we're going to go in with our eyebrows. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you're able to follow along. You see me looking down, I am looking into a mirror. But I've started off with my outlines. This is going to help you to kind of map where your eyebrows should start and end. So we're going to line our eyebrow pencil up with our nose, how we create this line. The second line is going at a diagonal right through the eye. That's going to be where our arch is. Last one is going to be at a diagonal from the side of the nose. You don't want to go too far out because your eyebrow is going to look too long. And then you don't want to come too far in because your eyebrow is going to look too close together. Start by brushing my eyebrow hairs up. This will help me to get a really clean look at what the bottom of my brow looks like, where my line is going to start and end. Your eyebrows don't have to be completely groomed. We are going to be able to conceal that with concealer, but the best is going to be to work on eyebrows that are cleaned. You're going to want to start just at the beginning. Very lightly, we're just going to go in and do under the brows. So from this line to this line, you should be working in an upward motion in the direction of that arch. Once you get here to this arch, you're going to want to start bringing that right down to this last line on the end to kind of create that tail there. Because we're going to clean it up with concealer, so don't worry. The next step that I like to do is to actually brush the eyebrow hairs down. So this is going to give you a good look as to what your natural arch looks like. I don't have to worry about any hairs being in my way, so I'm just going to start same place, go just directly above those hairs. So here, working in an upward motion until I get to the arch. Once I get here, I'm going to start taking this and going down. So here, I'm at the arch. I'm going to start bringing it down. You see, we have an outline of a brow, but everything in the middle needs to be filled in. Go ahead and brush those eyebrow hairs back up. That you're going to just go through with hair-like strokes very softly. In the front of the brow, you want to be very careful here because you want to make sure that this doesn't look too dark. But for the most part, if you keep it light, especially at the front, you should be fine. So I'm going to just fill in a little bit more here. And then here, I'm just going to take this back through. Now you should be able to see a rough outline of that eyebrow. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one so that way we can move on to the next step, which is going to be concealing the brows. You guys can see my eyebrows are not perfect. They're not going to be perfect. Now you might be able to get them really close to being perfect, but they're not going to be perfect. But that's where the process for concealing is going to come in. Something very flat like this. This is going to help to get really nice underneath of the brow. Just give it a really nice shape. It's going to do most of the work for you. The brushes are really important because the right tools is going to make the process a lot easier for you. For the colors that you're going to be using for your eyebrows, you can use one shade lighter or about 2 shades lighter. So this is kind of going to be the difference between the two. As you can see, this one looks a little bit closer to my skin, but it is still light. This one is much lighter. If you're a beginner, this may be a little bit easier for you to blend, but I do like to use this one for under the brows. It gives it a nice bright look. I'm gonna start right under that line we drew. From here to here, you're going to be drawing in an upward motion, and then from here, you're going to start bringing it down. Take my finger and just to blend it out underneath here. But as you can see, we're pretty much good on the bottom. Now, if I'm using a light concealer like this underneath of my brow, I'm going to use a shade that's about 1 shade lighter than my skin, and I'm going to go above my eyebrow, or you can even use your foundation color. I'm just going to start at the beginning of the brow, right above my eyebrow. And then once we get here to this line that was here, which by the way is gone because we're covering that up, we're going to go ahead and just start bringing it down. Just clean it up. We have a nice brow here. Blend this as well to make sure that our foundation goes on smoothly over top of this. So see this sharp line here? We're just going to take our spoolie and just brush it out. I'm going to do the other one so we can move on to the process of color correcting. Another tip that I have, if you are having trouble getting these brows to match up, so what you can do is draw a line from here where this eyebrow ends. Just draw it right on over. Both of your eyebrows match up here. Thing for up top, you can just go ahead and bring it right across. Now that my eyebrows are on, you can just take a baby wipe, makeup remover, whatever you want to take, and just get rid of those lines there. Or you can just blend it out. Really, it's up to you. So I take my finger and I'm going to blend that out. For the most part, we're getting somewhere. Brown skin, you're going to be using something like an orange color corrector. For someone that's a little bit more tan or medium skin tone, you can use a peach color corrector. Skin tones that are a little bit darker, you're going to be using a reddish orange for a color corrector. And I'm going to apply this very minimally under my under eyes, just where my discoloration is, and we're going to blend it out after that. I like to take a brush like this, start with the edges, because wherever you put that color corrector, you want it to have maximum coverage. So of course you're going to want to shear out the ends because you want it to blend flawlessly under the foundation. And then when you get to this part here, when you blend that out, you're going to pretty much keep it in that same area. If you don't have dark spots, you can completely skip this step. So we're going to finish that. I know this probably looks crazy, but we're gonna go with the process. Now for foundation, we'll do an entire separate video on what is your shade, skin tone, undertone, how to find the best fit for you, and what formulations are best for which skin type. So just make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. I'm going to be using the NARS foundation in the color New Caledonia. I'm going to be using a brush like this, or even a flat foundation brush. So it kind of looks like this, but it's much bigger than this for more full coverage. This is a beauty blender, by the way. This is going to shear your makeup out. One, it is to be used wet. So you do want to make sure that you are wetting this and dampening it before you apply your makeup with it, because what these do is soak up all of the product. With this, it's just going to be picking the product right back up off of your skin because it's soaking everything up. So this is going to be best if you're looking for a more sheer coverage, but I wouldn't suggest using this all the time. Brushes are going to be your best friend. I actually like to pump out my foundation onto the back of my hand just to warm it up. Notice I am dabbing this into my skin. Already you can tell it looks seamless. Now on camera, this might not seem like it's the best foundation for me, but it is. Sometimes the camera can misconstrue these things, but I promise it doesn't look too orange in person. A hack that you can use to get really close in to your foundation without messing up your hair or messing up your edges is going to be just to hold a napkin here. You can use, of course, a smaller napkin if you like, but this is going to help you get into those areas but not mess up your edges. In order to make sure that my eye is also taken care of as well, because we didn't put any makeup here, I'm just going to go ahead and dab my foundation brush in that same area there. This is just going to help to blend out that concealer under the brow here. You guys can see that's helped go right here in the middle of those brows, but that's that. Now we're going to be going in with our concealer under the eye. Go with a concealer that's about 1 shade lighter than my skin, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that under my under eye. As far as the placement is concerned, you want to be up in this area here, and then here on the end. You can tell, like, to make this line straight here, I just follow my lash line literally from here to here. I'm just following my lash line. When we blend this out, the product is going to spread as well. The purpose of this step is to place it exactly where the light is going to be able to hit. On the forehead here in the middle, on the nose as well, over top of the lip, on the chin as well. I always let my concealer set for a little bit. Letting your concealer sit is going to make it so that it is more full coverage when you go to blend it out, because it's dried down a little bit. While I am waiting, I'm going to take my contour stick from Black Opal, apply that in the areas where my face would normally have a shadow. Adding and contouring is just adding the dimensions back to your face. Foundation evens you out. Highlighting and contour process adds back those dimensions. For contouring, you're going to be using the ear as a reference point. If you can see, the top of my ear starts here. My cheek area is pretty much here. So from here to here and come down. To contour, you want to make sure that you are not coming too far down or too far in, because the product, again, is going to spread, but no far in than the end of the eye, and usually no lower than your nose, okay? Because when we blend, we're going to blend upward and lift your face versus blending down. That's going to drag your face down. Also, make sure to contour my cheeks here just a little bit, because there's a natural shadow here, one here, that's going to kind of give you a rounded shape here. Some contour in my natural shadows. Around the forehead, it's going to be about, if I didn't have any edges here, I would do across my forehead. Now the nose contour, use a smaller brush, something like this. I'm going to put this directly on the sides of my nose. You see my nose is here. We'll put this on. I'm going to take this as well and just bring this up into my eyebrow here. Gives it a little bit of depth to the eye. Now you can use a different brush to blend out your contour. Going in with the same brush that you used for your foundation is going to help to soften that up, and it's going to be a little bit easier to blend. I'm going to tap. We're going to tap and we're going to bring it up. And it is going to look harsh because I haven't blended anything here yet. Feather it out, and then here, this is just going to help to blend it in right here. I'm completely done with blending out my contour. My concealer has dried down a little bit more than I would have liked, so I'm just going to go ahead and reactivate that with a little bit of setting sprays. And I'm going to apply just a little bit more under the eye here. And then from here, I'm going to use something like this to go ahead and blend that out. Notice I'm getting really close into the nose here. And that's why I like a brush like this, because it makes it really easy for you to get that nose really nice and snatched. It creates that nice nose contour for you. Again, not really having to do too much work when it comes to the nose contour. You're literally just blending from here. This is the time where you would be using any beauty blenders to blend out any additional harsh lines. As you can see kind of here, you can see a line from where my concealer and my contour meet. So I'm just going to go ahead in with the bottom of this beauty blender. It's going to blend the two really nicely. Anywhere around here. Same thing here to make sure that there are no harsh lines before I go in with my powder above the eyebrows if there's anything additionally that needs to be blended here. The next step to apply your powder. Now I have the translucent honey in the Laura Mercier. You can use anything from Maybelline. You can use the Morphe ones are okay too. So those are the two that I would recommend for beginners to start with because they're more affordable products. It's a lot easier for you to practice with products that are not going to cost you an arm and a leg. When I am setting my makeup, I do like to use a powder puff. And then I like to go into the powder here, coat it really nicely, and then tap off that excess on my hand. And then I go directly under the eye. Just like that. You can just press it in. Press and roll. Any creams that you put on your face, you're going to want to set those with a powder or else it's not going to stay. So as you guys can see, I have just finished with my powders. I did under the eyes, down the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead, right above the lip, and on my chin. Now, I haven't added my bronzer, so that's why my face may look a little washed out. So take my powder, do a little bit of reverse contour. So what that means is that, as you can see, this kind of ends right here. We're gonna just chisel out this area here. So I'm just gonna take this and slide it down this way and just blend that out. Now it looks pretty harsh right now, but what we're gonna do is blend it out as we're blending out the bronzer once we go in with that around in this contour area. As you can see, this area here, this is gonna be right below that contour here. So I'm just gonna take this here and kind of see how that's coming together now. Now you can skip this step. It's really completely up to you if you feel comfortable enough to do it, but you can do this. It's gonna give you a better, more chiseled look. Now my bronzer is a little beat up. This has like eyelash glue and stuff on it, but this is the bronzer that I like to use. This is from Essence. It's very affordable. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but it was definitely around $10, maybe even less. So with this bronzer, I'm actually going in with this color. Now, when it comes to bronzer, bronzer is going to warm up your face. It's not going to be as cool of an undertone as your contour. This is pretty cool. This is going to create the shadows. This is going to bring a little bit of warmth back into the face. So I'm going to use this color here. This is closest to my skin color, but it's about 1 to 2 shades darker. I'm going to take a rounded brush. I'm just going to go ahead and swirl that in to my bronzer. I'm just going to take that on to the cheeks. In that same area that we put the contour, you can swirl this way to help blend it out. I also take this on to this area here, just blend that out as well. See, super easy, it's gone, but you can still see that line is there. And then same thing on this side. I'm just gonna take this up a little bit on the cheek here and then blend that. Now I'm just taking this around the outside of my chin just to create kind of like this area here. For the nose contour, I'm gonna actually use something like this, a smaller brush, swirl that into there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get that product right where I need it. Bringing it up into the eyebrow, creating a nice ombre here. Very defined. And here as well. Forehead, I'm gonna do just a little dab here. And actually, you wanna actually bring this back into the hairline as well. So you can start kind of where the powder left off and then bringing that back into the hairline. Next, I'm going to go in with my blush. This is the Juvia's Place palette volume 1. Now you can go in with this orange color. This is really nice on brown skin. This is going to be a really nice color too. Because I'm actually going to start with the orange color. It's going to be right between your concealer and right above your contour. So definitely in this area, you can bring it back as far as you like. You should be working right in this area. So the trick for the eyes and the liner is to follow your lash line here at the bottom. And then you're going to draw a line from here in the middle of your eye, starting right over your iris. Bring that out. And then fill in all of this space right here. I'm going to go ahead and do that and then show you guys what it looks like. My wing liner is done. I'm just going to go ahead and take my mascara, just coat my lashes. And this is going to help me to be able to see where my falsies should start, which will be somewhere here, and then where they should be ending as well. Now, I do have my lashes here. They are already cut to the size of my eye because I've used these already and cleaned them, of course. If you haven't used the lashes before, you want to just make sure that you are taking them onto the eye. So I usually take the lash like this just to measure them. I'll just hold them on the lash. They look good. If they seem like they'll be a little bit too long, I usually trim off the end, not the part that is at the front. So as you can see, these small lashes here, that's going to be like your inner corner. Everything here is going to always be shorter than the outside. So when you are cutting them to fit your eye, you always want to cut off the end so that way the beginning of the eye still looks like that natural cat eye. A good tip for when you are applying lash glue to your lashes, you want to apply the glue to the band here. I take it and I apply it to my lash line. What this does is make it so that way it's not hard for you to get the lashes to stay. It's going to make it just easier for you because it's going to dry down. You're going to have this that's trying to adhere to your eye, and you also have glue on your eyelash line. So it's going to be a lot easier to make sure that the lashes stay and stick. I like to take a mirror and look down into it. And from here, you'll be able to see, once you actually look at it from this angle, you'll be able to see why this makes sense. So you'll be able to see exactly where your lash line starts. You'll also be able to see where you should be ending. So take this lash. This is going to be the one on the right. I'm going to go ahead and apply that directly onto the eye here. Super easy. And it stays, it's on, it's stuck. It's good. Now what we're going to do is just clasp those two together. And the same thing on this side. I'm just going to take my lashes, start at the beginning, press it in the middle. Now you can do this with your hand if you want to get a little bit closer to your eye, or if you're afraid to get close to your eye with tweezers, but it does work maybe a little bit better if you use tweezers because you can really get it where you need it to go. So I'm going to show you how to press them together with your fingers. Just like that. When it's the side of this part, you don't necessarily need a lipstick or a lip gloss. I do like lipstick, so I'm going to start with a brown lip liner pencil. This is in the color Chestnut from MAC. One of my favorite affordable lip colors is actually going to be from ColourPop. This is in the color BB Spice. I'm going to just apply that all over my lip. At this point, I'm just going to add a little bit of lip gloss here, and then I'll be pretty much finished. This is how my makeup turned out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!